Hey guys, welcome back to Shop Life. Today we're going to be installing this S54 with the 6-speed manual transmission into Snowflake. This 2001 BMW 330i is actually my first official car. So basically what we're going to be doing right now is, as you can see, I removed the front subframe and the power steering rack and all of that so I could clean it up. I've got new control arms that's going to be going in. They're Mile HD. As you saw, I have a video on unboxing all these parts. So what I'm going to do is put the control arms onto the subframe and then lift up the engine, put the subframe onto the engine with the engine mounts and all of that, get that taken care of, and then I'm going to release the engine. That way I'm only going to attach it from this hook right here, and I'm going to jack up the back of the transmission and hook up the transmission mounts onto the actual chassis, and then hook up the engine, the whole subframe and all of that. You'll see while I'm doing it in the video. I'll try to talk through it, and if not, I'll add in a caption later on. So right now I'm going to go ahead and install these control arms, and then we'll attach the subframe with the control arms to the engine. Alright, so I'm taking off these transmission mounts. There's two nuts right here, and this whole assembly should just slide out. Alright, so the transmission mount, there's a ridge on the top part. So this part goes on the top, where there's that little bump, and this part goes on the bottom. You see there's a cutout for it, and on the actual mounting piece, there's a cutout right there as well. So that's the line up there. The smaller nut, like this one, goes on the bottom part, like that. And the top nut actually has like a washer attached to it, and that one goes on the top, just like that. So now we're going to get these engine mounts off, and I'm not replacing the engine mounts until I have the engine set in place. Then I'll put them on the subframe first, and then I'll attach it to the actual engine. These are size 16s, by the way. Look at the difference. We replaced the transmission mounts and the actual plate that the transmission mounts bolt to, and that goes to the chassis. That already put the bolts in there. Now I'm hooking up the heater hoses. Once the heater hoses are hooked up properly, then I'm gonna go ahead and lift the rest of the engine up and put the subframe in. Alright, so we got the transmission completely hooked up. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna put the subframe with the new engine mounts. We're gonna lift up the whole engine with it. Right now it's being held in by this hook and the engine lift. And the transmission's already hooked up, but there's a jack underneath there just in case if anything goes wrong. And the reason I do this is because all the E46 engines, even the M3, they have like an offset weight. So they get slanted when they're like just being held up by the 2 points. So what you have to do, you have to get it in at an angle. That way everything lines up properly and there's nothing that's not lined up with the drive shaft. So yeah, now we're about to put this subframe back in here and we'll go from there.